Alright people, this is Brad the Lad back again with another video, and today this is the Phil Neville show. And I've tried to do it a lot of times. I've tried it like 6 times now. It's not worked. I've got some things to show you. I'm a bit annoyed, sorry if I'm going a bit full on. I've tried this so many times today, it's not gone right. So, I've got some notes to show you about something I do at the weekend. There's also some other things I do as well. I'm doing my own FIFA season. I'm not going to do that live on YouTube or upload it on YouTube. I'll tell you about it, but that's as far as it will go. And I'm going to talk about the Champions League. I'm going to be talking about the Premier League, this weekend's fixtures, and the review from last week. And I've also got something rather interesting. I've got a worst, in my opinion, worst Premier League team since 2017. Now, it doesn't have to be all the last 3 years. It could be like for 1 year or 2 years. One player might have improved since that year, but I've put them down in this list. And if you disagree with it, let me know and give me your views on it. It's a game of opinions. That's fine. So, let's get on with it. So, I'm going to talk about my thing that I do at the weekend, which is I do commentary. So I like to be on my own when I'm doing commentary. I like to be in a room on my own. I don't like to be with people while I'm doing it because I find it a bit embarrassing. Obviously, commentators comment in front of the public eye, but I mean, like if I've got someone next to me or something like that, I don't really fancy that. Like a match of the day commentators, like your Jonathan Pearce, your John Motson, your Simon Brotherton. There's an Irish commentator, Conor McNamara, that did the game in the highlights I uploaded on Saturday as well. And I've got some interesting games that I like to pick. I pick games, most of them are neutral games. I pick Man United games sometimes. It's not nice when we lose. I can tell you that now. So this is the game I did the weekend, the big game, Norwich Man City. Obviously, let's include the Premier League review in this as well, because, you know, obviously, McLean got the first goal, and then Cantwell got the second one, a great counter-attack. Pukki got the third to make it 3-1 from Man City mistake, as Aguero got the goal after Cantwell scored. Then Pukki, obviously, Emiliano Buendia forced Otamendi into a mistake. He squared it to Pukki to make it 3-1. Obviously, Rodri pulled a late goal back, but it wasn't enough, and Man City managed to get, you know, a point. We tried to get a point, sorry, and they couldn't. Their unbeaten start was ended, and it was a great result for Norwich, probably the greatest result of 2019, to play one of the best teams in the world at the moment, and you know, to beat them in the way that they did, in fashionable style as they did. They had an injury crisis. It was very unlikely that they'd get a win. Probably people, including myself, thought it could have been a big thumping for Norwich, but they played fantastically well, and they won the game by 3-2. In this next game I did, this was a Sunday game, I'm doing a bit more championship games. Huddersfield Town against Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday won the game by 2-0. Stephen Fletcher got the first from a Kadeem Harris cross. Second goal came from Sam Winnell for a great ball in by Barry Bannon. Huddersfield lacked massive quality. There was only one player that stood out for me in that game, and that was Terence Gongolo. I actually thought he played pretty well in that game, and I think he's the only player in that Huddersfield team that is actually doing alright. Callum Grant, yeah, you can say he is as well. He's carrying Huddersfield in terms of goals. He did score quite a few towards the end of last season. That it didn't matter because they were relegated from the Prem. and it was quite a dismal day, for Huddersfield. Obviously, they appointed Danny Cowley as their manager, and Sheffield Wednesday appointed Gary Monk, and obviously it was Monk who came on top in the end. So, yeah, that was quite an interesting game for Sheffield Wednesday. It was the Phil Neville training decider. Obviously, Sheffield Wednesday won the 99 rated Phil Neville for this week's episode, which I posted out earlier. And this is the game I'm going to be doing this weekend. Southampton, that should be red, but I couldn't find any red pens. So I had to use a pink highlighter and a highlighter Bournemouth green, because Bournemouth will be wearing green this weekend, I think, since it's their away kit. There's a referee. That's not a great impression of a whistle, by the way. I do apologise. Chris Kavanagh's the ref for this game coming up. Lineups will be here for Southampton, and lineups for Bournemouth will be here. And the substitutes are down at the bottom. And this is the other championship game I'm going to do. I'm going to do Huddersfield Town game again. They travel to the Hawthorns against West Brom. Tim Robinson's the ref, and the substitutes are there as well. So those are my commentary notes. I like to be neutral. So it's the second Huddersfield game I've done in the week. They all have to be live, because I've looked for games on the telly, like channels that are hard to find and they might not work. And I've tried it before, it's really annoying. So I just picked the live games now. I was going to think of doing a Saturday game, thought, nah, take a break. Don't worry about it. So, yeah. So, let's have, so we've done the Norwich Man City game. Liverpool continued their 100% record. They beat Newcastle at the weekend 3-1, despite going behind for a Jetro Williams goal. Mane got a goal as well from Mo Salah towards the end as well. And obviously there's some other games as well. United beat Leicester, get in, 1-0 win over the Foxes thanks to a Marcus Rashford penalty. He scored. He has a good record against Leicester, does Marcus Rashford. And he got another one for us to get our second win of the season. And also, next game we're going to look at, Spurs beat Crystal Palace 4-0. I actually thought Palace might go and win. I put them down for a cheeky 1-0 win. Jordan Ayew to score, because they've been to they've gone to most of the big grounds, the Etihad, Old Trafford, the last team to win at Anfield, the last team to win the Emirates, and they've won. And I thought Tottenham, because they were really poor against Newcastle, and I thought that Palace could go and cause another upset, but they didn't. Palace were well beaten by Spurs. Chelsea won 5-2. Tammy Abraham's got an own goal for Wolves. He was actually linked to the move to Wolves at one point, I remember, and he scored a hat-trick, with Tomori scoring a screamer. People said he didn't mean it. I think he did. I thought it was just a great goal, and Mount got a goal as well towards the end. And unfortunately for Chelsea, Mason Mount is now injured for the game this weekend against Liverpool, so that is not good news for him or Frank Lampard. In other games as well, Southampton won 1-0 against 10-man Sheffield United. A goal from Moussa De Janepo got the winning goal. I actually think he should start the weekend against Bournemouth. It's up to Ralph Hasenhüttl. I think he's a fantastic manager. They've got a good away record, 2 away wins now. He scored away at Brighton, he scored away at Sheffield United, and he's got a goal last weekend. Billy Sharp was sent off. I don't think he deserved a red card. I thought it should have been a yellow at least. I don't think a red card was fair. I thought it should have been a yellow. Harsh decision. A lot of people, Chris Wilder, his own manager, said it was a red. I thought it was a bit harsh, to be fair, but he'll get over it. He'll be out for the next 3 games. He'll be a bit upset with that, but he's a good footballer. I'm sure he'll come back stronger from that. And Brighton won, Burnley won. Maupay scored his second goal for Brighton, his first since the opening weekend and his first at the Amex. Jeff Hendricks scored a late equaliser for the Clarets. They've got a good record on the south coast of Burnley, and it finished in a 1-1 draw. Let's have a look at, sorry, I'm just looking down there for some reason. That is Saturday's games. On to Sunday's games now. Bournemouth beat Everton 3-1. Everton have a really poor away record. They're fantastic at Goodison, but they're poor away from home. They've never won a league game away at Bournemouth, and the Cherries won 3-1 thanks to 2 goals from Callum Wilson. The equaliser in the first half came from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Ryan Fraser put Bournemouth back in front, and Wilson's got another one towards the end. And in the other game, Arsenal led 2-0 against Watford thanks to 2 goals from Aubameyang, 3 consecutive goals at Vicarage Road in the league for him. Obviously, he got the winner last season in a 1-0 victory. And a really silly mistake by Socrates as Arsenal tried to play out from the back. Allowed Tom Cleverley to score. Socrates looked like he was about to cry. And the second one, conceded penalty by David Luiz on Pereira, and Pereira made it 2-2 from the penalty spot. And Jacques actually said Arsenal were too scared of Watford, and Troy Deeney was not playing. If you're scared of Watford, with no disrespect, that is quite bad. That is quite bad. For a team like Arsenal, with the quality Arsenal have, that is quite appalling. So, there's a lot about Arsenal again. They want Unai Emery to leave. It's his second season in, man. I mean, he is making tactical mistakes. Managers do that, but he's taking over a legacy of it was a bit like we did worse under David Moyes. Unai Emery, I think, is better than David Moyes. I think that's undoubtable. But it's his second season in. Is a man, Arsene Wenger, who led Arsenal for 22 years, and yeah, of course you shouldn't be dropping points against Watford after leading 2-0. That's not acceptable. But I don't think he should be sacked. But again, it's a game of opinions. People are gonna probably slate me and probably might, I don't know, give me death threats or something. I don't really know. Arsenal fans, please don't. But in my opinion, I don't think Unai Emery should be sacked. That is my genuine opinion. But yeah, I don't want to upset Arsenal supporters or cause them to give me death threats or anything. But yeah, I'm not saying that they will, but there might be someone that says, Man United fan wants, doesn't think Emery should be sacked. He wants us to fail or to kill him. There might be that kind of guy that wants to come and attack me. There's a possibility. But I'm just saying, Arsenal fans, basically all I'm trying to say is I don't want to upset you. I just don't think he should be sacked. I just think it's a bit of a overreaction, really. Teams have dropped points from when they shouldn't have dropped points. I'm sure that must have happened plenty of times under Arsene Wenger, although he was so successful, and obviously he did want him out for quite a bit of time as well, but I don't think he should leave, personally. So yeah, that's my overall opinion. Right, we've got 15 minutes left. And the other game of the weekend, the final game, the party pooper game, probably entertained more by Mike Dean than anything. Masuaku was sent off for 2 yellow cards, and Anwar El Ghazi fancied headbutting his own teammate, Tyrone Mings, after he gave him a stern telling off for not tracking back. And that's the only thing in the game. That was really exciting. So, yeah. and West Ham might have gone third if they won the game, but they didn't. So that gives the opportunity to Southampton and Bournemouth, which I'm going to be watching on Friday night. Both teams on 7 points. The winner will go third. Bournemouth have never ever won away to Southampton in their entire history in any stadium away from home. And they haven't won against Southampton since 2016 when Ronald Koeman was Saints boss. So there's a lot of opportunity for Bournemouth. Chance to make history and a chance to go third. I think there's going to be a lot of goals in that game. I really, really do. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I think it will be 3-2 to Southampton. Because they're at home, I think it's going to be a fantastic spectacle for all of us. They've got so much quality on that pitch. I think it's going to be an underrated game. I've just got a notification that Spurs drew 2-2 with Olympiacos, so I think Spurs might be a bit disappointed with that. I'm not underestimating Olympiacos, not saying they're a bad team, but I think they should be beating them. And yeah, we'll talk about that later. So yeah, Southampton versus Bournemouth, a lot to play for. I think that'll be 3-2. Leicester versus Tottenham. I think this one will be a 2-2 draw. I think Leicester could win. I think Spurs could win. I'm going to play it safe and go for a 2-2 draw. I think Leicester weren't at their absolute best against us, but I do think, they'll give Tottenham a game since they're at home. And, I think it'll be a really competitive game between the two teams. Burnley against Norwich. Two strikers I'm quite fond of. Ashley Barnes for Burnley and Timu Pukki for Norwich. I think both of them will score this weekend, and I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. Next game, I think it is. There's 3 games on at 3 o'clock on Saturday, so bear with me. I know one of them is Man City against Watford. I think this game, I actually said in a live stream it'll be 3-0, but I'm actually going to go for 3-1. If Sergio Aguero scores, by the way, it will be his 100th goal at the Etihad Stadium. So that is quite incredible for Sergio Aguero if he can achieve that milestone and get 100 goals. Only Wayne Rooney and Thierry Henry have scored more at their stadiums, obviously. Wayne Rooney at Old Trafford and Thierry Henry at Highbury. So, a lot to play for, yet again. And in the other games, we've got the Newcastle playing Brighton. I know that. There's one game I've forgotten. There's one game I've really forgotten. Oh, pardon me. That's from the burgers. Yeah, Newcastle against Brighton. That's the evening game. There's one 3 o'clock game. If you can remind me which game that is, I'd really, really appreciate it. But yeah, this is just one game I think I've missed out. I know there definitely is. So Newcastle against Brighton, the Chris Hughton derby. Both managers have been managed by Chris Hughton. He was in Sky last week. I think he'll be at Sky for this one as well. I think it will be 1-0 to Newcastle in this game. I think they're going to get a big 3 points under Steve Bruce. The first 3 points of the season at home for Newcastle United against the Seagulls, who have not won in their last few games. They haven't won since the opening weekend of the season in the league. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, on to Sunday now. Crystal Palace against Wolves. Wolves are having a very, very, very difficult time, but I think they're going to win this one against Crystal Palace. I think it'll be Crystal Palace 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. They have got a Europa League game. It is massively possible, highly possible that Palace could win this game, but I'm going to go for Wolves to win this one. West Ham Man United, I'm going to be positive. I was very, very negative. Alright? I was very, very negative about the Leicester game before the match, and I'm going to be positive this time. We won. I was proved wrong. I don't know if this is the right move, but I think we're going to win the game 2-1. Daniel James is apparently injured, but I'm hoping he can recover for the game against West Ham. on Sunday, and if not, I play Rashford to the left and give Greenwood a start up front, although he's playing tomorrow. But what I will say is, I'm still gonna be positive. I'm gonna say 2-1 Man United. I think Harry Maguire might get a cheeky goal as well. I definitely think we'll concede. I think Haller will get a goal for West Ham. I think he's a very good player. I think he will score for West Ham this weekend. West Ham's always a difficult team to play. They played well in both games. They won against us at the London Stadium, and they lost to us at Old Trafford. But they still play very, very well, and were pretty damn lucky to win that game. Although the first penalty was a massive debate about it, I still think it is a penalty. But yeah, it doesn't matter now, does it? I'm sure West Ham fans will hope that the referee is on their side this weekend. And Arsenal, Aston Villa. Arsenal get back to winning ways. It's at the Emirates. It's against Villa. Yeah, Villa don't score very often. They don't, and I think Arsenal, with the quality they've got, I think they'll win the game 3-1. Chelsea against Liverpool. I'm in the middle of a draw and a Liverpool win. I can't see Chelsea winning this one. I think it's going to be Chelsea 1, Liverpool 2. So that is my Premier League predictions for the weekend. Everton, Sheffield United, that's it. That's the game I forgot. Everton 2, Sheffield United 0. That's what I'm going to go for. Right. I'm glad it came back to me. I don't know how, but it did. That's the main thing. Now, here is my Premier League worst 11. Are you ready for this? Right. In goal, Petr Cech. Petr Cech is one of the greatest goalkeepers in Premier League history. But he's made some horrendous mistakes. In Unai Emery's new style of play, probably not his fault, but he's always seemed to struggle. He concedes goals he shouldn't concede, and it's pretty shite. His form's really, really dropped, and Arsenal fans are very, very critical of him. He's made some horrendous mistakes, so I'm going to say Petr Cech. Right back, Ashley Young. He's getting old now, shouldn't be in the Man United team. He's been in the team for years, signed in 2011 by Sir Alex. He's been in there for too long. He's been at right back. Obviously, we've got Wan-Bissaka at right back now. Obviously, Young's playing left back, recovering Luke Shaw's position. But he is too old. He's too slow, making constant mistakes. Mark Goldbridge doesn't like him. Maybe not personally, but just as a footballer, it really irritates him. So he gets my right back position. Now on to the centre backs. The two joke centre backs, Shkodran Mustafi and Phil Jones. Terrible, both terrible. Mustafi, dreadful. He was alright in his first season, but he just lets players run past him. I remember watching like a mock video of him. And there was a goal against Newcastle in 2018 he conceded against Jose Perez. He just stood there complaining, going, "Oh," and then Perez just went, "All right, mate," boing. Just blasted it into the net. He always blames his other teammates. He's shit. Jones, pretty much the same, although I don't really think he shouts at his teammates that often. He does. He's often faces, scores the silliest of own goals. I just think he's ridiculous. Left back, Dennis Adoy. Good for the Championship, not good for the Premier League. Again, can't defend. Fulham couldn't defend last season. Conceded goals for fun. Was very, very good in the Championship. Not good for the Premier League, I'm afraid. So Dennis Adoy gets my left back position. In midfield, another one of Mark Goldbridge's very, very hated players, Nemanja Matic. Matic is a lazy donkey shit, according to him. He can be lazy. He's very, very slow in our midfield. not very good. Alongside him, I've gone with Marouane Fellaini. No real skill, can't bring any attacking quality to the team. He's a liability a lot. He concedes penalties very stupidly, elbows people, makes mistakes. Obviously, he's in China now, but he's not the player we needed. He was an aerial threat in the box, which is good, and he did score some important goals for us, but he's in my worst since 2017-11. In front of them is Moussa Sissoko. In the 2016-17 season, he was abysmal. He only scored 1 goal in 2017. He was pretty much a very poor player. Flop signing. He has improved massively, for what I've heard, but he is quite crap. Front three, I've gone with 2 strikers and a winger. I couldn't really find a right winger. On the left-hand side, I've gone with Alexis Sanchez. When he was at Arsenal, I used to wish we had Alexis Sanchez. And when we signed him, I was very, very, very excited. He rarely got goals. He's shit. He's out on loan at Inter Milan. He slowed the game down. I'm surprised Lukaku isn't in there. He probably should be my replacement for one of the players I've got up there, but I'll talk about it in a moment. And he's very, very... He is quite appalling, to be fair. I actually wanted to back him. I still want to back him. I think he can be... I want to see the great Alexis Sanchez that we can see, but he has been quite bad. His attitude's not correct, and he's just not been good enough. So, yeah, Alexis Sanchez, nah, not for me. Up for my 2 strikers, Christian Benteke. What has happened to him? Since he moved to Liverpool, he's been dreadful. Well, maybe that's a bit harsh. He did score a few goals in his season at Liverpool. He went to Crystal Palace, got a good few goals in his 16-17 season. In 2017-18, he can't finish. He couldn't finish a dog's dinner. He is appalling. He's a very, very poor striker. I don't know why Crystal Palace keep with him. From what I remember, he scored 3 goals in the 2017-18 season against Leicester. I don't remember him scoring a goal in the league last season. League Cup goals, they don't count in my opinion. He scored 10 goals in a League Cup game. Wow. It's a Carabao Cup. It could play against a team like, I don't know, Crawley Town. With no disrespect to Crawley Town. But, that's the thing really. And, Christian Benteke is not the player he was. I think he's a dreadful player. And up front, Steve Mounie. Right, in his first season at Huddersfield, he did well. He scored 2 goals in his debut. He got a couple of important goals for the Terriers. He scored 2 against Brighton. He did get a good few goals. But it took him until... in the 2018-19 season, it took him to the second half of the season to get his first goal. Huddersfield dreadful all over the pitch, but he was just dreadful up front, really. I could have had other options. I could have had Romelu Lukaku, for example. I could have had Laurent Depotre for Huddersfield, but I just think Steve Mounie isn't good enough. He is the last player to score a winning goal for the Terriers. But I do think because of his record, I've put him in that lineup. So yeah, guys, that is the lineup. How long have I got? I've got like a minute left, so I'm going to end here. That is this week's Phil Neville show. It's not been a great day for me. If it's not the greatest video I've done, I apologise. I've tried to do this video so many times, and this time it's actually been a success. So yeah, that is my worst Premier League 11. That is the Phil Neville show. The only Phil Neville news we've had today is that he's training for Sheffield Wednesday. Next week he's going to be training for Charlton. I'll upload that separately from now on. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you've got any questions for me, that you want me to talk about in next week's episode, please let me know. I'm Brad the Lad, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.